Hello beautiful souls, welcome to my channel Cosmic Contracts with Princess Starlight. Today's topic is about the 7 wise men. In Hinduism they are called the Saptarishis or 7 rishis. Rishis are known as knowledgeable men. Now when I picked up this topic, the common point, how I came across this topic was that I was visiting Mets in New York, and there in the Chinese section, in the Chinese culture collection, there was a painting of the bamboo. It's basically a tree, the bamboo trees, and there are 7 wise men sitting over there. The collection, the picture was so beautiful, and it's a 16th century depiction by Saison Shukei, and it's called 7 Sages of the Bamboo Grove. That really captivated my mind. I kept standing there for a lot of time, and then I realized that these 7 men are appearing again and again in every religion. So I won't be able to cover all of the religions, but then I'll be picking religions from the ancient past and then moving on to the current religion, where these 7 wise men or the sages have been identified. So in most of the major religions we are seeing that a flood came, and after the flood this one person, like in Christianity we see Noah, in Hinduism we see Manu. So they are told basically that they have to build a boat and they have to carry everybody, and in that boat there are these 7 rishis. So once the water level comes down, again a new civilization is formed, and when the new civilization is found, these 7 people, they are always found. Now these 7 rishis are basically imparting advanced knowledge about maths, science, astrology, warfare, political structures, how you're going to build a civilization, and many other things about how you're going to write, create a literature, so on and so forth. So basically, they are very, very knowledgeable men who help the civilization that is now being created. They help them to have that knowledge. They teach them, they impart them that knowledge. So moving on, I'll be covering the 7 wise men that are found in mythologies of Greece, Rome. They're also mentioned in Sanskrit, Persian, and Hebrew literature. Then in the Chinese religion, Hinduism, and Mayan. And after that, I will be talking about the book known as The Council of 7 Lights by George Van Tassel. Greece. Now, as per the Greece traditions, there were 7 wise men, and they were very well renowned for their wisdom. They're found throughout classical Greek traditions. I would try to name them to the best of my pronunciation, so be kind. One is known as Thales, second Pittacus, third Bias of Brainy, fourth Solon of Athens, and Cleobus, Chilon of Sparta, and I'm missing one. Okay, I'll share the picture. And these 7 rishis are found there. According to the book written by Plato, so he had written a book, and in that book called the Protagoras, there is a reported, so it's like a document that is reported, and it's in there written by Plato, that there were 7 individuals who were held in high esteem for their wisdom, and this is well before Plato's time. So he has just found this. This is basically reported by Diogenes. He's also a person in the Greece literature, and he has reported that, and the seven first became known as the wise men. So we do not know, because these are coming from the literature. Many historians obviously debate about it whether it's true or not, but the seven are mentioned in the Greece mythology, Greece literature. Rome. Now in Rome, there are stories of the seven wise men of Rome. It's coming from the work of Llewellyn the priest. Llewellyn the priest. Basically, this is a script that was used by Williams, though it's not identified well, but it's a red book of Hagrid's, and then in one of the editions, this script is found. And in the script, they are mentioning that there was an emperor, Diocletian. Diocletian. I will write that in the picture above. And now he's the emperor of Rome, and his wife Eva, they have died and left behind a son. And now the son actually needed protection, and how he's going to rule the empire thereafter. So basically, seven of the wise men of Rome were summoned, their names being Bantillas, Augustus, Latinus, Lentillus, Catonias, Jesse, and Martinus. And upon coming, they asked the emperor what was that they needed, what was it that they needed to do, and why they had been summoned. So the emperor quotes that, "I have one son, and I ask you to whom I shall give him to be taught manners and customs and poetical measures, and to receive a godly nurturer." So basically, he's asking them that who is going to take care and make him so educated and wise that not only for the for the prince personal development, but how he's going to take care of the kingdom. He needs to have the knowledge and wisdom. So that's a little introduction. I'm not going to go in further details. So even in Rome, we again find the seven wise men. Now in the Persian text, we find a story of a sultan, and again you are going to find these seven wise sages or rishis, wise men, whatever you want to call them. Again and again, they are mentioned in various literature work around the globe, in Sanskrit, Persian, and Hebrew. So one of the Persian stories that I'm going to tell you is that a sultan, he sends his young prince to be educated, that is far away from the court. So away from the court, there are seven liberal arts that are taught by seven wise masters. And upon his return, this prince's stepmother, the empress, she tries to seduce him, but he goes into weeks silence, and under the command of these seven wise men. And after coming back, now the empress is trying to narrate the stories in seven different ways, and how she was wronged. But every time, when she puts forward a narrative, it is kind of contradictory and it's confusing. And finally, on the seventh day, when the prince, he unseals his lips and speaks. So he has remember he went in a week for silence, and in that 1 week the empress tries to say everything, but there are different accounts of every time she tells a story. And then on the seventh day, when the prince opens his mouth, his words are so wise that the truth is finally exposed and the wicked empress is executed, clearly showing that these wise men, the seven wise men, had taught him very well. This is again one of the many countless stories that are found across the globe. In Chinese tradition, in Chinese ancient culture, you find the seven sages of the bamboo grove. The picture of this is depicted in a 16th century painting that I had found in Metropolitan Museum of Arts in New York. So they are sitting next, there are seven wise men who are sitting next to the bamboos, and one is writing or one is playing around, and different things are depicted that these seven people are doing. Now these seven people found their lives, so they were called seven sages, and they found that their lives are in danger when the Jin Dynasty came into power. So what they did is that they traditionally they did not want to be in that regime because it was filled with corruption and it was a very stiffing atmosphere in the court life, and they wanted to be free, so they gathered in a bamboo grove that was near Shanghai, where they would work and they would sing. They had a very simple life there, which they enjoyed a lot. They even stressed on the enjoyment of alcoholic beverages, cold food power, personal freedom, and celebration of the nature. So the seven sages are like they have become like the symbol, and they have been remarked to be influential in Chinese poetry, music, art, defense tactics, and basically overall culture. They have been very well again regarded in high esteem, just like the cultures that we have gone so far. Now, very well esteemed in the Chinese traditions as well. Hinduism. Again, in Hinduism, these the seven rishis is wise men or sages. So these Saptarishis are again found in Hinduism who guided the humanity. And it's said that Lord Shiva himself taught the yoga to these Saptarishis so that they could pass along the knowledge and tradition to humanity. Now, it's said that these seven were born out of the mind of Brahma, the creator. So there are three main gods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Brahma is the creator. Vishnu is basically the caretaker of the universe or the entire world. And Shiva is the destroyer. When you destroy, only then a creation can come into form, right? So these three have their separate roles. Now Brahma is the creator, and therefore he continues to guide the human race through the four yugas or the stages of the Kal Chakra, or it's the time cycle through which we all go. And they state that these Saptarishis are very enlightened beings. They have got divine consciousness, and their consciousness surpasses any normal human mind for sure, because now they're guiding humanity, so they have something more of advanced knowledge than anybody else. They are named as, one is Atri, Bharadwaja, Gautam Maharishi, fourth is Jamadagni, fifth is Kashapya, sixth is Vashistha, and seventh is Vishwamitra. So now, in the Hindu religion, all these seven rishis, according to the Hindu traditions, again they were imparting different fields of knowledge. So Bharadwaj Rishi was known to write. He composed various sections of Rig Veda. He also learned the science of Ayurveda from Lord Indra to help humanity. He basically realized that one life wasn't enough, so he asked that he could have various lives to completely learn and study the Vedas. It's also said that his father was Dronacharya. Now, Dronacharya is a very important rishi in the epics of Mahabharata, because in Mahabharata it's written that he is the guru of the Pandavas and Kauravas. So Pandavas, the five brothers, and Kauravas, 100 brothers. And so these, when they were kids, they went to school which is known as Gurukul, and there their teacher was Dronacharya. And he's also found in Ramayana as one of the sages that Ram, Lakshman, and Sita spent time with during their exile. So you can clearly see that their lifespans are more than thousands and thousands of years. So you can kind of say that they are immortal. They are not immortal, but their lifespans are so huge that they can be found from one yuga to another yuga. Rishi Kashapya. He's the second Rishi. Kashapya. Kashyapa. Okay, I'm sorry. I just it just got stuck into my mind. So he is the father of all the devas, asuras, nagas, and of all humanity. For those, I feel that all the religions and globally Nagas are very well recognized. They're called the serpent people. They truly believe that the Nagas, they live below the earth, and people who believe that cities like Shambhala, Telos, or the Agartha networks is there. They truly believe in the concept of hollow earth, that earth is hollow and there are a network of cities underground. So we are called the surface dwellers, and then there are cities below where these ancient ones or the light beings who are highly evolved than us, and they have completed all their karmic cycles. Basically, they live there. So the Naga world is also said to be below. And he is the author of Kashapya Samhita. These are Ayurvedic practices on human body and how you can heal it with nature. One of the interesting stories is that Kashapya, he drained one of the lakes, and once he drained the lake, the land that came out of that lake, that was submerged within this lake, is now known as the beautiful Kashmir Valley. Now, the third sage, Vashistha, he's also written a lot of literature, and he's talked about karma, free will, spiritual liberation. He's also composed a lot of Rigveda sections and how you can evolve your spiritual practices, how mind, um, basically the mind consciousness, and how you can control it, the knowledge of truth through Padartva Bhavana. It's a textbook, and there are various other texts that he has written. So it's upon you. Basically, the topics that he's covering, the knowledge that he has is on the free will of the soul, karma, and your spiritual liberation. Coming to fourth, Vishwamitra. Now, Vishwamitra is the founder of Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri Mantra, now scientifically it has been proven that if you repeat the mantra, it brings in positivity into the human mind, into the human consciousness. It's a very, very highly revered mantra. Any mantra that you do now, more and more, as we are learning about energy, the power of meditation, and how we move between gamma, theta, and alpha waves, and how these vibrations help us from being into negative to neutral to positive to ultimately attaining that uh, vibration, that enlightenment state where we are connected to the divine. We are already connected, but because we are in the lower vibrations, it becomes kind of, uh, it's kind of a, the connection is kind of, it's there, but it's not there. I'm sorry, I'm not able to get the term right now, but I hope you get that. But the connection is always there. That's what I mean. But then the more they raise their vibrations and these rishis, they end up being in the enlightenment stage. They have a different consciousness altogether. So the mantra goes like Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tatsya Vitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo No Prachodaya. The meaning is, we meditate on the glory of that being who has produced this universe. May she enlighten our minds. So this is the meaning of the mantra. It's said that he really meditated for lakhs and lakhs of years to get this mantra from the divine so that the humanity can use it and benefit themselves from this mantra. Now it's said another famous story about Vishwamitra is that he was the king of Kaushika, and one day he was passing through a forest where he ended up meeting Sage Vashistha. And now Sage Vashistha had a cow who could give anything. Remember, cows are very sacred in Hinduism, and there is a reason. We do not, like right now, we do not understand the power of our own being. Then let forget about animals and plant kingdom. So this cow is so special that it can give gold plates, gold bowls. It can produce anything apparently. Now what happens is that now Vishwamitra, he's King Vishwamitra right now. So he is visiting the sage's place, and when he sees this cow, he's like, now I want this cow. He desired the cow, like, because the cow can give anything that they desire, right? So he sends his entire armies, divine weapons, but he's not able to defeat Guru Vashishta. And that is when Kaushikji, he gives his entire kingdom. So his initial name was Kaushika. Vishwamitra's name was Kaushika because he was the ruler of Kaushika kingdom. And sorry, he was King Kaushika. And after giving up his kingdom because he could not defeat Sage Vashishta, so again I'll say King Kaushika, he finds Sage Vashishta, he finds the cow, and he wants the cow now, he desires the cow, but he ends up sending his entire army, divine weapons, but he could not defeat Sage Vashishta. That is when he gives up his kingdom and becomes Vishwamitra after thousands and thousands of spiritual meditation practice. And that's when Vishwamitra is found to be one of the gurus of Rama in Ramayana. And he's the one who comes to Ayodhya and asks the father of Rama and Lakshman, Dashrathji, that he needs Ram and Lakshman and he's going to take them to the forest because there is a powerful asura or demon called Taraka. So that's his entire journey. Again, you see how long he must have been living, thousands and thousands upon, God knows, maybe lakhs of years. So for them, it's they are not living in human times like we live for 70 or just 100, or this body that we have right now. If we use it well, then the maximum period you can stay in this body is up to 120 years, but I feel hardly anybody has been able to do that so far. So let me know if you have any other culture where you find these seven rishis. The last one that is left is the Mayan tradition, the Mayan culture. Now, in the Mayan culture, again, there are seven gods. They are called gods. So, I'm not entirely sure if these are the seven rishis as well, but because they are these distinct seven men who are helping the Mayan civilization, and they are termed as Mayan gods. One is the god of rain and water, the other is the lord of heavens, of day and night. The third is the god, she's the goddess of natural satellite of planet Earth, water and fertility. The other is related to death and the underworld. Fifth god, he is related to the creator of universe, wisdom and wind. The fifth god, he is related to sky, earth and underworld, and the seventh one is related to corn and agriculture. So you see the god and goddess, so basically the goddess of fertility is found like in every major religion, starting from Egyptian goddess Isis. Even in the Sumerian tablets they are found. She's named in Inca or Inanna, something like that. And then in our various religions, from ancient, medieval to current, we are going to find goddesses of fertility, creation, gods who have brought this entire existence, and they are the rulers of cosmos, underworld and earth. So we find these repeated concepts again and again. And because I really initially thought that I would create just an episode for 15 minutes or so. This has really stretched more than that. The last book, okay, is written by, this book is called The Council of Seven Lights. It was written in 1958 or somewhere in the 50s, and this was written by George Van Tassel. In this, he has introduced the concepts of, these seven people who talk about the ability that you can awaken. There are dormant conscious memories that are stored within us, and they can be awakened at any time. The principles of radio, television, electricity, and all the modern things that we are using, that they existed from the time of Plato and Columbus. And then there are various other topics. So let me do another episode. I'll read a little bit about the Council of Seven Lights, and I'll just put out these topics of the chapters. The one is definitely introduction, the second is one of the missing links, then there are two invisible gears, and I think the fourth chapter is 3, the Son of Gods, 4, Trinity of Infinity, right? Then the fifth chapter is Unseen Scales, the sixth one is the Angels of Space, seventh is Prology of Mother, then the Sword of Damocles, and 10th is the False Chariot. So let me look into this book. I will read and give a little summary about it. So even this is one of the books that is talking about there is a council of seven light beings, and the knowledge that he has got from them. So, with that, I would like to end today's episode on the Council of Seven Wise Men or Sages. If you know something about that, please write in the comment section below and do not forget to subscribe. Bye bye. Lots of love and light. Princess Starlight.